Bada boom, bada bang, bitch. Oh, would you look kiss me again? Period. Back at it again with another video. What's up, y'all? I had to put my hat like this because when I first got on the camera, and I just had my hat like this because when I put it down regular, it do come a little long. So I was trying to just clear it out the way so I could make sure I had got my notes properly so I could record. And then when I turned the camera, I'm like, girl, what the fuck? Why does that look like this? It look crazy. Now I'm low-key feeling it, so I won't keep it like this. Got my bonnet on underneath here. That's what this little ruffle part is. But I don't know, like I'm feeling it. And then probably because like it's big and stuff too. That's another reason probably why it's looking like that. But it reminds me of that episode of Fresh Prince when Will had to do the little summer school thing, or else he wasn't gonna graduate and he had to dress up as the little sunflower. That's what this is really giving me right now. But anyways, I'm back at it again with another video. Y'all know I got my handy dandy notes. Now normally in my previous videos, y'all know I keep them in my notebook. I don't need to do anything. I actually have a notebook. I just need to remember that I have a notebook and begin to pull that bitch out. So back at it again with another video. Let's jump straight into it. This shit is sending me, bro. Anyways, girl, let's get into the video. Hold on. All right. So I was like, starting off, my first point that I have on here is at the end of this year. I was about to say the middle. At the end of this year, I literally had said to the universe, I felt like it was time for a new prayer to be said. Because, like, I changed my prayers up after a couple of years, and it'd be like, okay, it's time for another elevation. You know what I'm saying? So this time it was like, I felt like it was time for a new prayer, but I kept specifically remember saying, like, I didn't want to create my own words this time. I wanted them to speak to me what it is that they wanted me to say, whatever it is that they wanted me to pray, and that's what I wanted to go ahead and begin to, pray. And at first I felt like, because all I kept getting was whatever was in their will and alignment, and I felt like I was being lazy because I wasn't tapping in, trying to hear more of it, because in my mind I'm thinking like it has to be, I don't want to say a long drawn out process, but I'm thinking it has to be more than something than just your will and alignment. But it was like, as long, because this started in October, and I want to say in December is when like how they really wanted me to say, like everything that they gave me to say really came about. But it still is pertaining to saying like as long as it's in their will and their alignment. And that just reminds me, it's like, man, starting in October all the way up until December, when I began to pray how they wanted me to pray, especially saying whatever is in their will and alignment, just going with their flow, it's like things begin to change so differently versus whereas when I would just say my own prayers. And I don't think that nothing is necessarily wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, that's still me orchestrating my own way, whereas your will and your alignment, that's their way. I have no words to put into that. I don't know what that contains. All I know is that's their will and that's their alignment. So it's an unknowingness within it, but it's like, damn, I feel like a download that I'm getting right now is that's literally what magic is. With magic, you go in with an unknowingness about something, but you want to creating nothing from something. What the download that I feel like I'm getting right now, I'm trying to figure out how to word this together because the shit just hit me. With magic, creation, faith, passion, and leadership. You go into it with an unknowingness, but you go into it with an unknowingness of how you're going to come about of a result of what it is that you want. So you go into it with the knowing of what it is that you want and what it is that you desire. But you also step into it with an unknowingness of how it is that you will receive what it is that you're aiming to get. That's where the magic, the faith. What else I said? Leadership. And it was something else I said that I forgot. But y'all know what I'm saying. That's where all of that comes in. That's literally what that is. It's showing you how, although you do not know, like going in, you'll be able to find a way. I'm trying to make that shit make sense. And it's like it's right there, but it's not coming out all the way, if you know what I'm saying. Because it's like, damn. It's like you're going in with an unknowingness. Creating nothing from something. That's what I wanted to get back to. Thank you. So all of those have in similarity together. I know the way I worded that was just so fucked up just now. I talk crazy a little. But anyways, what they all have that's similar is the fact that you go into it with nothing, but during the process is where you learn how to create and to come up out of it with something. So that's literally the process of creating nothing from something, seizing your opportunities, making things happen, taking initiative. I said that was leadership, magic, faith, passion. That was the other thing I said. So that's literally what they all have in common. You go into it with nothing and with an unknowingness of how you're going to get what it is that you want. The only thing that you know when you step into it is that you have a desire of something. Anyways, yes, I had changed up my prayer, and I feel like things have literally been moving in alignment to how they're supposed to be and how the universe wants it to be. So, and then it's like, man, my strength and everything else, the downloads, the knowledge has been, seem like that's been getting stronger and stronger as well with me saying that prayer like that. Whereas when I was praying on my own, yeah, that shit was strong. But it seemed like I had to do a lot of the work, more so. A lot of putting in. And I think that's the thing, and I'm about to get into it. But I'm going to just say this before I get into it. I think that was the thing. It was like, I hadn't already been through this shit. So I felt like once it got to a certain part where it's like, I'm going through this shit literally again. It's like, that's the area where I see how things changed from when I started saying the prayer about their will and their alignment versus my own. Now it's like I said, that cycle has been completed. I'm literally free. I feel so at peace, please. I feel so at peace, so happy. So it's like, I don't have to worry about no negative person, no toxic person. Motherfuckers always watching, trying to start something, trying to be a bully, trying to be on demon time. It's like, I ain't got to worry about that shit. I'm at peace. I'm soaking in like my own energy, my own relaxation, restoring my energy, loving on myself, and just tapping in and moving forward with the universe. So the next point that I had after this was, that's why I don't really take anything personal. Because like I said, I pray specifically, whatever the universe has for me, let that come to fruition. So when things that it may be that I desire, and I feel like they allow for me to go on that road to see, and it doesn't come out, I'm not about to get upset and force an outcome from that situation. It's like, no, I understand and I learned that although I desired this, it wasn't for me, and I went on that journey. They allowed me to experience it to see why it wasn't. And the reason why they allowed me to experience it is because I say all the time, I love learning. If I can endure and not be afraid to meet new people regardless of what I've been through, and I always say you can learn something from people even if they're treating you in like a negative way or harsh way. Damn, well, how the fuck did I just lose my point like that? I don't know exactly what it was I was going to say, but I know it's on the basis of if I can be confident with going out and meeting new people knowing and still searching for a positive experience because I don't allow the negative experience to shape who I am. I still know myself. I'm not going to take anything personal when it's something that I want or desire doesn't happen. I'm going to take it as the universe is protecting me because that's not meant for me. Like I said, when you value something, you have it protected and put up. You're not going to allow just anything, any person, any place, you know what I'm saying? Because you want this to be treated properly and taken care of properly. I feel like I'm talking crazy, so properly and taken care of properly. It's like, well, how am I talking like that? But anyways, so like I said, what's for me will be. That's why I don't take anything personal, because I pray whatever in the universe's alignment and will for me, let that come to fruition. So that brought me into the next point. A realization that the universe gave to me is that I was, man, it's like before I move on, there's something about that was for me and not taking anything personal that they want me to touch on. But like I said, I lost my point. Bring it back to my memory, so therefore I can speak what it is that you all want me to speak out. So it's like, I think what I wanted to touch on is the reason why they allowed me to be able to experience it instead of shielding me from it. First of all, one, because they know that I like to learn, and they know that what I have learned about emotional manipulation versus true confidence, that I will not allow for people's negative tactics to get me in the mindset to believe that there's something wrong with me, and then I take up being insecure and being confident. Instead of looking at it in that perspective, they know that I will look at it in a perspective of a learning lesson, and I will see it for what it is, that this person has flaws that they are not willing to accept and that they're trying to project towards me. But in the midst of all the storm, the fog, I'm still able to see clearly everything that's trying to come my way, and I'm still able to dodge it. That's how I'm able to survive the storm. The second point they gave me is that with a proper parent, guardian, educator, mentor, whatever, leader, it's not for you to shield and think that, oh, I'm just trying to protect you from the dangers. There's always going to be dangers. That's life. That's something that you have to endure. What they're reminding me of is, like I stated in one of my previous videos, you teach your children, but like in this case, whoever it is up underneath you that you're giving guidance to, you teach them to be able to protect and to defend themselves. You went through life, they have to go through life. You cannot shield them from that. You're not their God, you're not their savior. And when you begin to try to take up that role and play those games is why you begin to endure such harsh karma. And parents can never seem to realize that, because they feel so entitled to their child. They feel as though that they become the dictator of the child. And it's like, no, this is still the universe's child. They just granted you guardianship. So it's still not for you to shield them from going through the process of life. That's something that they still have to experience. Didn't you have to experience that? If you were shielded, what happened to you in your adulthood? What's going on with you now? Are you healed? Do you still got trauma? You know what I'm saying? Yada, yada, yada. Look at it like that. If it was where you weren't shielded, okay, how did that still play effect into your adulthood? Are you more confident? Do you feel like you can make better decisions? Do you feel like you don't allow people to get over on you? Or do you act the same way as the person who was shielded? You know what I'm saying? So it's still the case where you still have to allow. You don't stop. You don't control. You don't dictate. You allow and simply guide. So the next point that we move on. We move on back to the point of people aren't real, because I had to finish the other one. So I feel like I said what I needed to say. I remembered my point, summed it up. So now let's move on to another point. The next point. I got to get my speech right in this video, because I don't know what the fuck is going on with me today talking. But anyways, people aren't real. That's the next point that I have. And with this point, the universe gave me the download that they use me as a test to people. That's why I always say when I go into people's lives, I'm testing their purity. So therefore, that's why I never take anything personal with people again, except the treatment. Because in all honesty, you could have just kept it real. And that's where we double back to where people are not real. If you felt a certain type of way about me, or if you felt, let's just keep it real. Like, if you felt envious, you felt jealous, you felt like you wanted to connect with me, you felt like anything, that's all you had to do was say that. Instead, people, you wanted to join with me to get money and finances, that's all you had to say. But people would coerce, plan, scheme, lie, manipulate, and gossip just to get what they want. But scream to the fucking world that they so real. That's why you failed the test, and that's why you're getting your karma the way that you are. If you was real, you wouldn't be enduring everything that you're enduring, because your soul and your energy is pure. Therefore, your actions matched up to not only your energy, but to whatever fucking words that you were speaking. So therefore, you would not have to worry about not being protected and not receiving blessings. Now you're receiving destruction, because that's what you went about causing. Then we move on to the next point where I said this cycle is completed, like for sure. Reiterating on that point where I said I felt like I hadn't already been through this. The main purpose of me going on my journey was for myself to find truth, to build strength, to enjoy life, and to just know me and get closer to the universe, closer to my spiritual team, and just be surrounded in truth and honesty. I felt like I hadn't already endured the dark night of the soul, which is why I left family members and began to go deeper into my journey of knowing myself, loving myself, and just wanting to be surrounded by nothing but truth and to be true. When I got to a certain point on my journey, it felt like I was beginning to endure the same fucking obstacles that I already endured with family, which is why I left from by them motherfuckers in the first place. So that's why I say it kind of feels like I already had to been through this shit, which is why I'm so glad it really actually feels like the cycle is completed. But with that, it's like they gave me the reminder of, because I felt like my focus hadn't shifted. My journey started off where I was focused on me. But because of those coming up against me from the past and new people that I had to defeat as well, and that's why I say I don't duck no fucking smoke. I need to see all my opponents, because I'm about to learn some new skills. So I will never be afraid of you. Hit me with your best shot. Real facts. So because of the obstacles that people from my past and new people was throwing at me, my focus hadn't shifted. Now that this cycle is complete, my focus is shifted back to where it originally should have been. And I felt like the download that the universe gave me is that a good leader knows how to shift focus, but always remember the main target, our main perspective, main principle, whatever, however you want to word that, main fundamental, however you want to word it. They always remember the main target. It's like what I learned in trucking school. You can't just focus straight ahead on the road, because you're not driving the truck. You already know how to drive.